We are still in chapter 2, and now we are going to learn how to conjugate the verb haben, which means to have. I'm going to write an English conjugation down first so you can see what the English verb does. The English verb says, I have, you have, he has. Here we go. It's not quite regular, is it? She has. Here we have a change again. It has. This is our singular because we're talking about one person only. Singular. Now, let's look at the plural and then we continue. We say, we have, you all have, and they have. Now when you look at the English verb, it's fairly regular except for the he, she, it form, right? Okay. Alright, these are the plural. So the singular, it changes only when you say he, she, it. The V disappears, it's replaced by an S. The rest is just like the regular verb. Now let's look what German does. Okay. Ich habe, there we go, almost like, see, habe. You see the resemblance between English and German again. Now, du, what do we do now? Here, we have to do a change in the German verb. Du hast. You see that? Then, when we say he has or she has, ASCS, then we say hat. So it is slightly irregular. Okay? Du and he, she, it is irregular. When we go to the plural, then it goes back to the regular form. Wir haben, ihr habt, und sie haben. Okay, so what do you learn about? What do you know about the verb haben? This is called the infinitive. Remember, the infinitive before we do anything to that verb. Once we conjugate it, remember you learned ich, ending is I. Du, the B drops out for this verb because it's irregular and it's replaced by an ST. He, she, it is also irregular. The B disappears, it's replaced by a T. So these forms have to be paid attention to. The plural is normal again. Haben, habt, und haben. Just like you learned for the other verbs. Alright, how do we use haben? For example, we could say we have hunger, we are hungry, right? So we would say wir haben Hunger. Or we could say, she has a car. Sie hat ein Auto. Right? No complication. The only thing you have to remember, when you see du, an alarm bell must go off in your head because you need to remember all of a sudden, du is slightly irregular. Du hast. Du hast ein Haus, for example. You have a house, right? So alarm bell goes off. If you see she, meaning she, again, alarm bell needs to go off. Sie hat ein Buch, for example. She has a book. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward except for the forms of du and SES. Du replaces the B, puts an ST in its place. For SES, replaces the B with a T. And that's all you need to know about haben. But there's one way of using that verb in a special way. Remember, we had the little word gern. Now, if you use that verb, gern haben, means to be fond of somebody. To be fond of. Yeah. And remember, when we use gern before, we put it after the verb, and we do the same thing here. If I say, I like, let's say, I like Anne, right? Let me write that down in English. I like Anne. So, we have to conjugate the verb haben, which would be ich habe, and then comes the person we are fond of, and the gern goes to the end. And that means I am fond of Anne. How would you say you are fond of, for example, if you have a hobby, you are fond of tennis, yeah? You could say du, and then the verb again, du hast, remember, the alarm bell needs to go off because hast is irregular. Du hast Tennis gern. So we can either be fond of a person or a thing. But that's how gern haben is used in a sentence. Alright, that's enough for haben.